original combustion engine was developed 30 years before crude oil. Not many people know this. The original combustion engine was not designed to run on gasoline. Many places in history claim that Henry Ford was the first one to produce the car, and it's misguided that he used a gasoline engine for his first car, the Model T. In fact, what they neglect to tell you is the truth of the methanol fuel that was originally used by the original horseless carriage long before crude oil was developed. The car by Henry Ford was built from hemp. The car parts for the motor were made from hemp. The body, the paint, everything to do with it had to do with hemp. Even Harvey Firestone, who developed the tires for Henry Ford, even then used not just the rubber tree plant as a fiber, but he also used the cordage in hemp to develop the actual tire that actually went on Henry Ford's cars as well. Rudolf Diesel, originally made his diesel engine back in 1891 and entered into the 1900s World Fair and ran that off of peanut oil. Later, George Schlichten invented the quarter catting machine, which enabled diesel engines to run off of hemp seed oil. These are clean products, clean fuels, green fuels, and we have been denied the right to use these clean fuels and been forced as a people of the world to depend on fossil fuels, which are totally polluting. They knew they were polluting. They knew what they were getting into when they were introducing these chemicals into our world, into our society, into our water, into our air, and they've gotten away with it by directly playing on people's fears of anything that they chose to mold at the time. Since hemp was an 80% factor in their profiteering of their industry, hemp was a direct threat to the crude oil industry. So hemp had to go. They made it so that hemp had to be illegal so that way they could eliminate the 80% threat against their market, and crude oil would take its place, and we would depend 100% as a monopoly on crude oil. We were forced into a monopoly. There was different organizations that broke apart. There were specific oil companies, but they still all dealt with a central crude authority. Nowadays they call it OPEC. Back then they didn't have the development name for it yet. Okay, I want to take a minute now and kind of switch topics up here on you a little bit as far as how our government is actually controlling our moves and how big power industries actually control our lives instead of the government allowing us to live free. It is not the government that is running our lives, it is industry that is running our lives, and one of those industries is if not all the way in blame for our economic status currently and our health care, thanks to the insurance companies. Now that the health care bill has been crossed past the board, it's up to the insurance companies, and it is a law now that we must have insurance. It's a law that we must have insurance to drive our cars. It's a law that we have insurance to work. It's a law that we have to have insurance to live. Can you believe that? We have to have insurance to have the right to be alive. When does this insanity stop? They've got their bailouts. The only thing the bailouts did was merge the insurance companies to the U.S. government. So therefore, the U.S. government claims to own the insurance companies, But however, the insurance companies set the policy for their policies and their coverage. So therefore, the government may own a percentage of the insurance company, but the insurance company runs the government. The parity is alarming. Some of the other things that we've touched on in the 420 interview that you saw earlier is scams like global warming. There is really no direct effect. I mean, the emissions and carbon dioxide emissions that we as planet Earth humans here put off to hurt our atmosphere is actually 2%. 98% of global warming is occurring naturally because it is a natural occurrence, a natural state of our sun and our solar system and our planet. Since the last ice age, the ice has melted, and basically if you look at the history of all of the ice that was left over from the ice age, it has never stopped melting. Glaciers are melting because it's normal. They have been melting for a very long time, and they will continue to melt for a very long time until the atmosphere around our planet is stable and more of a current unified temperature. It's normal for our planet to be this way. The ice age was not a normal occurrence, and our planet is still adjusting. As far as tectonic plates, the tectonic plates never stopped moving. They're still moving. It happens very slowly, and it may not even happen within 1 or 2 lifetimes, but they still do move. They are pieces of a puzzle, and they are subject to move to gravitational forces. A gravitational force strong enough to move a tectonic plate and cause earthquakes and volcanic eruptions can happen as easily as a large celestial body, planetary mass or meteor could pass in between the Earth and our moon, creating a major magnetic disruption within our magnetosphere of our planet, and thus causing gravitational shifts, thus causing tectonic movement, destabilization, winds, weather, our tides for our ocean. Personally, I have made a prediction of April 5th, 2013. A lot of them think that it's going to be 12/21/2012. Well, I agree. Something probably pretty fantastic probably will happen on that date, but I don't think we'll be seeing the destruction of the planet on that day. I believe it'll happen probably a few months later.